Hey, what's up everybody? It's PDF44 coming at you with another video. So, kind of stumbled onto something I wanted to kind of talk about. This Rachel Nichols conversation has kind of stumbled me into a different point of view. Not a different point of view, but more so into a different topic that I could bring to you guys. I just want to say whatever I got to say on. So, for me, I don't want my words in frustration, however colorful they may be, especially if I say them in confidence to somebody else or even in my own home with no one here. If I say something in confidence and it doesn't come off as very respectful to whomever it is I'm speaking about, regardless of who they are, I don't want that, if it were to come out, to define who you believe me to be all day, all night. Because I can assure you, this mouth has said something in 37 years that would offend the hell out of you. I promise. I promise. At some point in time, I confess, I've said something to offend you in confidence. But that doesn't mean that I hate you. That doesn't mean that I want to see your family without opportunities. That doesn't mean I want to see you at any disadvantage of any kind simply because I said what I said in a moment of frustration. Now, I can't speak for nobody else because other people have different point of views depending on what's being spoken about. Maybe that's not acceptable. I get it. But I'm telling you what I would want, what I want. Because I feel like if you catch me at any given moment in life, and this kind of goes hand in hand, and I know this is not going to be popular, but this kind of goes hand in hand with hypocrisy in a way. Because at any given moment, especially in a growing life, I may find myself disagreeing with my very own self. Maybe new information can bring me around, seeing things differently. Maybe I get a different point of view. Maybe somebody brings me, maybe I have an experience of some sort, change my whole way of looking at stuff, and now I hate my old point of view. Now I hate everything that I was thinking about before I become anew. That doesn't take away from the damage that maybe I did when I was that way, but it does mean that I've turned a new leaf. I'm moving on, or whatever. I'm not that at this time. But if you look at me and you apply that thought that maybe I showed to the world accidentally, or showed to you accidentally, if you apply that thought to every single thing you see about me, you're gonna be wrong. Forget whether or not it makes me feel bad. You're gonna be incorrect in your assessment of what it is that I'm actually thinking, and may miss time my next move or whatever it is you think I'm gonna do next because of it. And that's why it's so important that we start kind of giving a little more critical thought to things as it pertains to grabbing context. You know, I've been praying about that, thinking about that a lot, making sure that I'm always questioning whether or not I'm jumping to a conclusion too quickly or whether or not I have context. I tend to do that. You may have seen me do that, and I'm working on that. But I think what becomes frustrating is watching people who are online or have a voice, and for whatever reason, maybe they feel they have to take a certain angle to please a certain set of people, or maybe they've been canceled so damn much that now they just feel like every position they have to take must support a certain group regardless of whether or not it actually adds up in their mind. They'll listen to what someone says, and they'll listen to other commentary, and they'll go with the commentary that they feel they need to align with. That tends to happen, and it's a frustrating space I'd imagine to be in. But what happens is when people listen to you and you do that, you're sending them in the wrong direction. And while you understand what you're seeing in this situation, and maybe you're just sharing what you need to say, they don't see anything at all. They're not thinking for themselves at all, and they're walking away from that situation with that opinion. There's a lot of minds out there like that who don't really have the critical thinking or the analytical thinking to just say, oh, okay, this piece needs to go here and this needs to go here, and because we've got these two pieces, now we have a full picture that I can look at. No, they're just waiting for somebody to tell them what the hell they need to see, because these two pieces ain't never gonna come together with that brain of theirs. We need to respect that about certain people, especially us talking heads, because we go around trying to pander to, or try to protect ourselves by taking certain stances, and those stances will be false, and we know it. But we still want to say, it's this way because that's what they saying, so that's what it is. No, that's not the way to go. So that's just something I wanted to say, man. For all of us who are responsible with our words, who try to lead people in a certain direction, don't get caught up in the politics of things, having you push your message out the wrong way, or having you pandering to some people just because they don't accept you and you want to be accepted by them. That's the wrong way to lead your people. Find your own conclusion. Give us that. If you see it the way they see it, cool. But don't come here telling me that you see it a certain way when you just listen to the same thing I just listened to. And that ain't what we heard. That's all I really wanted to get on here and say. I had a situation like that. I'm listening to somebody talking about this Rachel Nichols situation, and my thing is like, what? What are you talking about? It's one of those. So it's like, for me, I just need to come over here and vent that out. Like, no, stop this bullshit. Stop this bullshit. But anyway, I'm not going to get on here saying whose name or what, because I don't want that type of attention in this situation. I don't. It's not that serious to me. But I just feel like somebody out here pandering, and I see it. And it's some bullshit. But at the same time, it's like, look, as it pertains to this particular situation, for me, since I brought up Rachel Nichols, I can look at Rachel Nichols and say, okay, Rachel, you displayed a side of yourself that you didn't want us to see, and we don't like it, and now we're gonna look at you differently because of it. That's what it is. She knows that, and she's gonna have a long road ahead to try to win back the respect and appreciation of people who were offended by what was said there. Okay, because a lot of people were offended, and a lot of people took it a lot of different ways. But you can also, at the same time, look at Maria Taylor and say she's fantastic at what she does. The message that she just put out toward black women was amazing. I thought it was something that was so special that I sent it to all the black women that I'm close to in my life. I thought she was a shining example and continues to show a shining example of grace and respect and everything that she does on camera. And she's the type of woman and professional that I would want, if I had daughters, to follow. And that's what I got from her in the times that I've seen her. I can say that and say Rachel Nichols looks bad right now, did some bullcrap right now, and I'm not feeling Rachel Nichols. But still look at the situation and say, okay, well, Rachel Nichols didn't actually intend for us to hear that first. Second of all, she did not say that two things couldn't exist at the same time in regards to the conversation, meaning Maria Taylor can be qualified and exceptional and handpicked for her professionalism and skills and still be hired because of a bad diversity system that has been placed for a long time that is now being changed because of pressure. Pressure that isn't likely stemmed from anything other than political and monetary gain. In other words, the people at the top haven't had a change of heart. No different than a person who's pandering to people, you know what I mean, has any change of heart as well as in regards to how they view certain things. They just want you to think they do. If we're gonna have organic understanding in regards to these type of issues, we need to stop telling people they can't be frustrated because of their position in it. Just because I've gotten the worst end of the stick does not mean that the person who doesn't have the worst end of the stick should not feel or express frustration from their position. I don't believe that. And I think a lot of people having this conversation believe that. I don't. Now, that doesn't mean we want to hear their damn complaining. No, we do not. But there's something I understand about harboring feelings without saying them, especially if it's not motivated by anything organic, which this is not. What you have here is somebody or a group of people, especially people that you believe to be hateful, they're the last people you want suppressing energy, because what ends up happening is they blow up like nothing you've ever seen. But see, we tend to walk around saying because we got the worst in, those who've done us wrong can't feel frustrated in the consequences of the behavior done by people around them and maybe them themselves. They can feel whatever they want to feel. They can say whatever they want to say. What I don't want them to do is pretend like everything's okay, like a lot of people do, when they really hate us, when they're really frustrated, when they really feel like we're the ones hurting them because of the circumstances that we all find ourselves in because of the racists who came before us. I am telling you here and now that I think Rachel Nichols showed us a side that I couldn't get with, and I wouldn't want to shake her hand right now. But I can also say that a lot of the ways she's been painted in this situation is more so about fitting a narrative and less about making that woman face the music for what she was heard saying. And that's where I come in with my opinion. Because from the very first minute, when this came out on July 4th, I knew this was some bullshit. It didn't mean she wasn't guilty, and it didn't also mean that she didn't deserve it. It just means that it was some bullshit. Now, whoever did this, they might have been properly motivated. Hell, she might have pissed somebody off to the worst way. And now she's getting the consequences of that. But what I was saying, and what I'm still saying, is I don't like being used as a means of your get back as a consumer. Don't hit me with this on my holiday. Because if you hit me with this on my holiday, that means you're trying to bring forth a certain type of attention that isn't normally brought to the situation. You want extra attention brought on this smear campaign. This was a attack on this woman. And I don't think we're asking the right questions in regards to it, because the narrative fits everything that we want to have a conversation about, it seems. But here's the problem. It's the very thing she's talking about. Now what she has to do, go back and suppress even further. Pretend like she's not upset. Now what does this actually do though? What it can do is make someone who's already kind of upset at black people hate the hell out of their ass. And now I have to be quiet about it. So what's that gonna make me do? Be even more upset, even more aggressive, even more resentful. This is how racism starts. This is how it continues. Rather, not starts, but continues. By not allowing people to express how they feel and not be killed for it. We are going about what we're asking for the wrong way, and we're still building more and more resentment. I saw something online that bothered me a lot. It said that the LAPD is suing the Los Angeles city or whatever. They're suing whoever they would sue in this situation for having a mural, a colorful mural, looks like it was painted by somebody who's really good at what they do, that says Black Lives Matter. Their point of view is that it's offensive to police officers, some of which who are black. I don't think they excluded those people. I really don't. I think they were thinking all officers when they said that stupid shit. It's stupid shit because there's nothing negative or offensive about the words Black Lives Matter, because they never actually exclude anyone else. But when you have this resentment in place where people don't feel like they can talk to you, they don't feel like they have to step around eggshells to be in your presence, they have to get out the way and not be able to express frustration for getting out of your way, even if it's justified. Mind you, it's not about whether or not it's just. It's about obvious circumstances being obviously frustrating, and what happens when people have to suppress that energy, man. What happens? It gets worse, not better. We're in the era of mental health. How does this help race relations? How? How does this help us not deal with organic and genuine hatred for us, pointed at us? When every time anyone expresses their point of view, it's a problem. Now, I'm not going to say every time they express their point of view, I'm not offended. Two different conversations. Their point of view is very offensive. But they got to be able to get that shit out, just like I need to be able to get on this camera and get this shit out. So that I don't suppress all of my frustrations and then get in front of somebody who this doesn't fit and blow up in front of them. Because that's what happens. They're not going to get in front of somebody that they're actually frustrated with. They're going to get in front of somebody who fits the mold from the group that they're frustrated with, and then they're going to blow up at that person. That's how that goes. And since we understand how energy goes, since we kind of understand how mental health works, it's time for us to start attacking these circumstances a bit more strategically as it pertains to not allowing people to go over the edge with suppressed energy and suppressed frustration and oppressed conversation. So that's where I'm at with that, and that's how I stand with that. My point of view is not to come to the white queen's aid as opposed to pushing aside the black queen. I'm not on that shit, man. Right is wrong is wrong. I don't subscribe to that stuff. We're trying to get away from a space where we have to secure ourselves that way. It should not have to be that way going forward. But somebody has to be honest and say, yo, yeah, things are bad. But the guys on the other side of things, they have a point of view. And if we're going to be consistent about mental health, if we're going to be consistent about how we feel, we got to let those who don't feel as strongly, got to let those who ain't feeling as much pain, got to let those who are only getting up to a certain level of frustration that we've reached much further beyond, to get theirs out. Maybe not in our eardrums, but certainly don't kill them for being them, because ultimately it'll help us all if they just be their damn self. You know how many times I've heard black people say, I wish all the races were just as open as Southern races? But we don't. We don't. We would much more rather than be like California racists who will smile in your face and take opportunities from your ass. That's what we would rather than be, because every time they start showing us who they are, we be like this. You can't talk. Don't do that. Don't say that. Doesn't work. All that do is make them hate you more, man. That's all it do. Make them try to figure out more ways to secretly screw your ass over. That's what that breeds. More resentment. You know, we have this mentality about protecting ourselves as it pertains to certain things. In our culture, for example, we know when to tuck our chain. We know when not to leave our door unlocked. We know certain things not to do to protect ourselves. It's understood. So why can't we see the fruit in this? And not jumping on the back of everybody in the name of supporting ourselves, because at the end of the day, all you're going to do is make them hate you more. That's all you're going to do. And some would say, well, that's not possible because they already hate us enough. Trust you me. Resentment builds. That's how it works. It don't stay. Resentment doesn't stay like this. Hate don't stay like this. It either does this or it does this. And asking people to shut the hell up and pretend to feel something they don't feel, it does this. That's what it does to hate. What would it do to you if you were suppressed in what you're thinking? What would it do to you? Would it make you more dangerous? Let me know. I'm not capping for white people. I'm not. Some would say I'm cooning right now. That's fine. You can say that. It just means you don't understand what the hell I'm doing here. It just means you don't understand my point of view. That's fine. Not everybody's going to put two and two together. And with that, what we were talking about at the beginning of the video, not everybody's going to take the two pieces. See, they're not going to see what I'm trying to say here. That's fine. I'm always on the side of black. And if you follow me on socials, you'll know that. But what I'm not going to do is pretend that other sides don't matter. What I'm not going to do is pretend like we're actually empowering ourselves by asking others or demanding that others don't speak the frustrations and whatever feelings they may have as it pertains to whatever it is they're dealing with, whether they have to do with us or not. Because I can tell you right now, I'm going to keep on talking. I'm going to get mine now because I know how healthy it is. So I would encourage all the people who don't feel the way I do, get yours out too. But understand, the world that I'm talking about is a perfect world. You don't live in that. You can't do what Rachel did. You get what Rachel got. You can't do what that white dude did when he was sitting up here screaming at the camera, saying he was drunk. He said he was drunk. But he was screaming at the camera, saying, F-U-N, da-da-da-da. Come on down to my... And then everybody showed up. Can't do it. So if you're on that side of the fence, please believe. Just because I feel this way don't mean that you can work that way. You cannot. They will cancel your ass. They will get you fired. It will mess up everything in your life. And I understand that. Not as it pertains to what happens, but the frustration that come with it. I get that. I wouldn't be happy about that. And then you're telling me I can't voice my frustration? Where can I go? Where can I go? Well, I'm sure there's some guys with some white robes and burning crosses. I'm sure will allow you to say what's on your mind. Even if you don't feel as extreme as I do, I'm gonna give you an outlet that no one else will. See how harmful that shit is? Look who came to my rescue when nobody else would listen to me and I was frustrated. The Klan's getting bigger because of this stupid ass shit. You know that, right? All I'm saying is, there are ways of going about things, and we can get the wrong results. It's gonna be more and more people frustrated about reasonable shit, like Black Lives Matter and black people being shot in the streets. It's gonna be more and more of that. People swaying toward the evil because of the lack of understanding that's coming from conversations that aren't had based on people being told to shut up and people saying that they're not gonna listen to them. I'm telling you, these conversations can help sway minds. Now, suddenly, I'm not thinking whatever I'm thinking because I have something tangible from which to reach from that goes against that naturally. I walked in this conversation saying that in this, that, in that, but I walked away from that conversation saying, wow, that was a different experience than I thought it was going to be. Now, next time I run into an African American person, I ain't never, ever going to have that same approach, because maybe, just maybe, it can go like that last one went. But if every time them situations go bad, and then they retreat back to those places that allow them to speak, what are they talking about? The one time I saw that one dude, he gave me no love, he showed me hell, I was just myself. I'm not saying he's right, or the ecosystem that he's from is right, or his culture is right. It's wrong. If he hates me, he's wrong. And I ain't saying I can convince anybody. I don't think anybody can be convinced necessarily unless it's in them to change. But I can certainly see people getting worse, even when it's in them to change. When the suppression hits, when the shut your mouth hits, when the you bet not say nothing around me or I'm gonna attack you physically hits. It does not work. It doesn't work. So, I got into my rampage. This is why I feel this way. I want to see everybody succeed. I want to see black people succeed. I want to see Maria Taylor continue to get opportunities. If not with ESPN, with somebody who'll give her the bag she deserves. And I want to see Rachel Nichols go off somewhere and get some help. Honestly, I want to see them remove her from ESPN because she don't need to be on camera right now. It's too awkward. The elephant in the room is too nasty. She should not be on TV. And she needs to go somewhere and get some help. Seriously. Find out why that type of demon is in you, to be that flippant about that woman as it pertains to the ecosystem that neither one of y'all controls. See, that's the problem. We got to check our hearts, man. Many people just want you to behave a certain way. That's what I've been talking about for the last 20 minutes. We got to change our hearts. She got to figure out why she felt that way, so she can change it, so she can get the type of response that she ultimately wants, not the shit she's getting. That's what this got her. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a lesson being learned here. But too many people are on their own shit. Oh, we gotta come to the defense of this group, ostracize that group, twist those people's words so that they'll be seen a certain way. Isn't that what's been going on the whole time? Why reinforce that? That doesn't bring organic change. That doesn't make anybody's feelings change. Just makes the negative feelings increase. My name is BDF44. I think I got it all out, man. Thanks for listening. I'm out.